Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle puppy coach and breeder for Noodle Way and River City Puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behaviour of a Cavoodle puppy. So, if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning, and you can follow me across all social media under the name @OodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of the Cavoodle Coach podcast Rebooted. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host. So today I was thinking about what I should talk about on the podcast, and to get some inspiration sometimes what I do is I head over to Facebook and I go into all of the different Cavoodle groups on there and I see what's being asked. I see what questions are being asked, what problems people are having, and it gives me inspiration for what to say in these episodes. And so that's what I did this morning. I went over to Facebook, I went into the Cavoodle groups, and I saw this question that had been asked, and it was whether a boy or a girl Cavoodle is better. So I read through the replies, I read through all the comments, and it made me laugh. And it made me shake my head because I think that's half the issue when you are getting a puppy. You go onto Google, you go onto Facebook, you go onto whatever it is you're using as a search engine, and you ask for different opinions to all of these questions that you have. And as a new puppy parent, you have a lot of questions. It's overwhelming at times. And I got to tell you, when you go to things like Google and when you go to things like Facebook, you'll have thousands of replies from thousands of different people with thousands of different opinions. And they're not always correct and they're not always right. And in this instance in particular, all these people were saying, they were commenting, oh, you have to get a girl. Girls are gentle and amazing and so sweet. And then another person would say, oh, don't get a girl. Girls are not very kind. They're not very cuddly. They're not very affectionate. Get a boy instead. A boy is so much better for a growing family. And it was just interesting because it was just a bunch of opinions from people who have had dogs before or knew people who had dogs. And none of it came from someone who had any sort of knowledge about the temperament of puppies and the development of puppies. So I thought I'd get on here today and I want to talk about this subject, whether a boy or a girl puppy is better. So here it is. Both are really good. And I bet you expected me to say that, but I'm going to explain why both are really good. And I'm going to explain why gender just really is irrelevant on your journey to trying to find a puppy. So every puppy, and you've heard me say this before, every single puppy has a list of individual temperament traits. Now, some of these temperament traits they are born with, and some of them can be adjusted through some training. And these temperament traits are not dependent on the gender at all. You know, whether a dog is going to be very highly driven by human attention or whether they're going to have a really high prey drive and want to play a lot, that has nothing to do with whether it's a boy. It has nothing to do with whether it's a girl. It has to do with the puppy itself. And so when you are looking at getting a puppy, you know, it is important. You have to write out a list of attributes you are looking for. You know, what sort of puppy is going to really suit your lifestyle? What lifestyle are you going to be able to provide to the puppy? Because if you're busy and you're working full time and you don't really have much time up your sleeve to spend with your puppy, you cannot pick a puppy who is really, really highly motivated and highly driven by human attention, because that puppy will suffer when you're not home. And when that puppy suffers and when it's bored, it'll have a whole bunch of behavioral issues. And in addition to this, it'll also start to form separation anxiety. So it is important as a family, before you pick your Cavoodle, before you get a puppy, that you do write down a list of temperament traits you want, and you take that to your breeder and you say, hey, Mr. Breeder, Mrs. Breeder, this is what I need. Can you please help me find the perfect puppy? And the breeder's answer should be yes. Now, For myself, when it comes to my puppies that I breed, I never, ever, ever let a family pick a puppy based on gender or on something as silly as looks. Every cavoodle's cute. It doesn't matter how they look, and gender also doesn't matter. I always make sure families pick based on temperament. And this way, when you're matching a family and you're matching a family's lifestyle to the temperament of a puppy, it means that it's a really easy, joyous experience where the puppy does seamlessly transition into the family's life, rather than having a lifestyle and your puppy not fitting into it and then the puppy becoming a burden and being really, really hard and difficult to have. So when it comes to the question, boy or girl, which one's better? Forget the gender. Write down a list of temperament traits you want, take it to the breeder and get the breeder to match it with you. And if your breeder is not willing to do this, that's a sign of a breeder who doesn't really care about the welfare of their puppies. And if the breeder doesn't have a temperament test to be able to test the different personality traits of their puppies, again, there are breeders who do have this, and those are the breeders you should work with, because those breeders are going to really help you get that perfect puppy who fits in your lifestyle. My philosophy is a cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it, and that is step one. Don't pick based on gender, pick based on temperament. So that was what I wanted to talk about today in the podcast episode. Really, really short and sweet, but a really, really important message that you have to take into consideration. Whenever you're getting a puppy, everyone's first thought is always going to be, oh my goodness, what gender should I get and what should I name the puppy? That's not really important. A puppy is not a handbag. It's not a piece of clothing. It's not something you just pick because it looks pretty. A puppy is a 15-year-long commitment, and you need to be picking it based on personality traits so that it fits into your lifestyle and doesn't complicate it. That's my little rant for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I'm going to also be releasing a second episode today, and this is an episode I recorded over a year ago now, and it's with the company Rightpaw, which is an amazing search engine to help you narrow down a list of breeders who are reputable and responsible. It's a great place to start on your search. And the podcast episode I recorded with them was all about separation anxiety. So I'm going to release it as well. It's a longer episode. I think it goes for about 50 minutes, but we do a really big deep dive into separation anxiety, why cavoodles get separation anxiety, and what you can do to prevent it or help your puppy if they are suffering for it. So go and have a look at that episode. Let me know how you think. And again, I'm going to say this for the next few episodes while my waitlist is open. If you are in Australia and you are looking for a cavoodle breeder who does do temperament testing, who does raise their puppies on a curriculum program, who does match the puppy's individual personality traits with your lifestyle, then head over to my website. It's Oodle Way. Apply to my waitlist there. I'll link it in the show notes below, or send me a message on Instagram at Oodle Way, and I'll send you all the details on my litters. But my waitlist is open at the moment for applications for litters coming in July. Okay, so that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out that separation anxiety episode, and please make sure you leave a rating and a review if you learn anything new from this podcast. It really helps, spread the word on this podcast, and it allows other families to also find it so that they can get the puppy of their dreams and understand more about the breed. All right, that's it for me now. This has been your cavoodle coach, Tiana Karamayas. See you later.